Hey, Chris. All right, I'm on YouTube right now. I'm gonna go live on Facebook in a minute. Okay? Yeah, go on the phone. Just keep it quiet in the background, whatever you got, and then I'll put you on the phone. Just okay? Uh, Stay right there. All right, here we go, guys. All right, in 3 seconds. There we go. All right, YouTubers. Welcome back to Hannah Time, right here on Global Sports Broadcasting Network. Cornelius Brad Hannah, your host on GSBN Global Sports Broadcasting Network, and also on YouTube and Facebook Live, Instagram. Welcome back. You can listen live on the stream on GSBN. Also, let's get to it real quick. The quick introduction of what the show is going to be like. Also, does size matter? It doesn't matter. In some cases, it may. But Joe Burrow, the LSU quarterback, Heisman winner, national champion, his hand size is a little smaller than what they were looking for. Does it matter? The guy was great in college. Astros Altuve gets plunked and booed. Expect that to happen. Oakland A's pitcher Mike Fiers, who's the one who spoke out against the Astros, former Astro player himself, gets cheered in his debut in spring training. We'll talk to Chris Farina here in a minute about boxing, the recap of Fury and Wilder's fight on Saturday night. He was there, so his perspective is always good on this. And more intriguing player NFL news going around the NFL. And Arizona State historic run. College basketball, men's college basketball. We haven't seen this since 1981. And the greatest women's basketball player, she's in college, plays for Oregon. She has done something that no man and no woman has ever done in college basketball. Pretty good stuff. We'll talk about her in a little bit too. So let's say hi to some people really quick popping in. Great show, very diverse show. A lot of different sports topics, but I don't want to keep Chris Farina on the line too long here, waiting. Hey, Chris, I'm going to pop you online here in a minute. Here you are, Chris. How are you, buddy? All right. Chris Farina was at the fight Saturday night. This is probably the last time we're going to talk about it. We talked about it yesterday a little bit, but you were there for Fury and Wilder. Had a great view. Give me a quick perspective on it, and we'll get into the conversation. Right. Yeah. Chris. Chris, they're talking about that bloody ear, the blown out eardrum, the equilibrium, that he was just never there after that big blow he took to the head, the side of the head. And that probably could have been the case itself. I mean, he just looked like he wasn't even balanced, his footwork and everything, and maybe it was the case. But I do agree with you. Wilder is who he is. He's just a big puncher and doesn't really have a skill set against a guy who has a skill set in Fury, who doesn't look like the the body type that you would want to see, but he's just a unique fighter, quick hands, good jab, follows it over with the big right hand, and like you said, he kept pressing, pushing. pushing the situation, pressing Wilder. And I don't think Wilder can beat Fury. I don't think he can unless he gets lucky with a punch.
Let's put it this way. One of my cousins, they bought the fight because I said this is a good one. And one of my cousins saw Fury come into the ring, and they went, "He's gonna fight Wilder? We have a chance." But by looks, he looks like what is this? Who's this clown? But when he gets in there, he's a tricky fighter. By looks, he doesn't look like he has anything, but he has the skills. He definitely has the skills, and he definitely has the game plan. I mean, it was a brilliant plan. And Wilder, I don't know if he was caught off guard or just I don't know what happened to him. But
Boxing heavyweight, the heavyweight division, Chris, is kind of unique in a way. Was it Ruiz? Ruiz who won his fight didn't look like the typical fighter guy, kind of over heavy, overweight, whatever. You have Fury in the ring who doesn't look. I mean, where is the heavyweight division? I mean, it is exciting again. I mean, at least it's talk. We're talking about it. It is the forefront of boxing right now.
well, fighters like Andy Ruiz Jr. If you know him and you know his past, you know what he can do. But looks are not everything, and you have to know the past history. But in the heavyweight division, that's why it's so exciting. Two fighters come together, especially with no losses, and anything can happen, and that's the case.
Mm-hmm.
You have this notion that one guy's got the advantage, but even though Wilder was the favorite, slight favorite, Fury just took it to him. I mean, you got to hand it to Fury. He was prepared. He took it to him. He had a game plan, and he did what he had to do. That was basically it.
All right. I'm talking to Chris Farina. Look for him on chrisfarina.com. All of his great photography work with great boxing fights. Once again, he gets to go to a big heavyweight championship. This wasn't the one. They're trying to call this like one of the greatest fights, rematches of all time. I mean, they really try to hype it up, Chris. You've been through the big ones. Where does this one stand?
Well, this one ranks up there as a very, very, very good fight. I'm not sure. It could rank as one of the greatest. We'll have to see and what the historians have to say. But it was definitely an enjoyable fight. It was worth the time and effort to watch it. So I mean, Fury's going to stick around. He's going to be here for a long time. I don't know who's going to beat him, and I do not know if there's going to be a rematch. I don't know if Wilder wants to get back into the ring with the big guy here.
Yeah, a lot of people are having a hard time accepting the fact that Fury is a better fighter. A lot of people are having a hard time that the Gypsy King basically beat down on Wilder. It just seems like Wilder got a lot of press, a lot of publicity, a lot of hype, but was he really fighting anybody? Is what my big question now becomes. Was he?
Wilder became exposed. I mean, he had a lot of early fights that were kind of went through the 30-some fights and knocked people out. But the same thing, he was exposed for what he is. He's a big puncher that has, he's not the old fighters of old. Some of the old heavyweights in the 80s could have beat him.
Right.
So I think he was exposed for his weaknesses. And Fury came in and knew exactly what to do. And it was fearful. Don't forget, Fury was fearless of him. You
Yes.
understand?
Yeah, big.
I mean, not fearful, fearless, and he wasn't afraid of him at all.
Hey,
That was the case.
so would a Ruiz Fury fight be kind of fun to watch? Like, what kind of hype would that bring?
You're breaking up. What was that?
A Ruiz Fury fight.
Oh, that would be just fabulous.
Wouldn't that be? Two.
I mean,
I mean, size. My topic question was for fun. Does size matter? Shape, sizes, everything. And this was part of that topic, that question. And to me, those are two fighters I would love to be at that fight. Love to be at that fight.
well, we'll see if that can happen, but I think that would be the most entertaining option out there right about now. Yes, of course. And I've worked with Andy Ruiz Jr. many times, so I would love to see this. He's a great guy. They're both really good guys. So
All right, Chris. So when you walked out of that ring, what was the mood of the crowd? Was it more shocked or were they surprised? Because
I think they were shocked. I mean, but the British fans behind me were kind of expecting it, and they were just very happy about the result. And but I think a lot of people were going, "What just happened?" I mean, we came here to see Wilder. We put our money down. We bet on him, and he didn't show up. Basically.
well, Great Britain is all happy. They got a champion, and he's probably one of the best ones we've seen in a long since like the Tyson run. I think the Klitschko's I get they were okay, but I think Tyson Fury would have beat one of those Klitschko's in their prime. I like Fury. I like his style. I like how he fights. I like he uses the body. He goes all five targets on his opponent, and he's got a great jab. He just sticks that glove in your face and blinds you, and he's got that big power right. So I love Fury itself, and I hope he sticks around a little bit longer. I hope there's a challenger. I hope there's a good challenger. I like to see the heavyweight division rise the way it's rising a little bit here.
Yes, definitely. And of course, Fury's got that. He's got very good hands. Fast hands, and so maybe now he's not going to be so underappreciated
Mm-hmm.
in the boxing world. And he's very personable. He's a funny guy, and I think he'll do very well. That's what I think.
Who's his promoter? Like who has him under contract? I'm just curious.
Oh well, it's top rank. You had to go there.
I did. They must be giddy because they were struggling to get a big one. Now they got a big fish. Top rank.
It's some guy named Bob that's running that ship over there. I don't know.
Well, it just you stay in the fight game long enough, you're probably gonna get a big fish with the money that they've thrown at him to sign him. I mean, right? I mean, so eventually, it's weird, man. I mean,
Yeah,
uh,
Bob was never in. I mean, he left the heavyweight division many years when I was with them. I mean, we basically were concentrating on welterweight and middleweight, and it was so hard to get any kind of heavyweight exposure. But
right.
now you're right. It could turn things around, and this could excite the boxing world for some time. We'll have to see. We'll have to see
Mhm.
what kind of matches they put together.
Yeah, they talk about these up and coming heavyweights and they're trying to promote it. I know the media and Fox and Top Rank and the other ones and ESPNs who follow boxing and treat it like that's their one of the main focuses in their programming. But you got to be careful because they're just trying to hype up their product. So you watch it and you don't know who you're really gonna like. You get all excited and you forget a lot of these fighters are okay. It's not the golden era. Like we're waiting for the next golden era of boxing. Hopefully, this is the beginning. Hopefully this is the beginning. You know, I mean, I don't want to
Right.
see Mayweather going up against USC fighters again. And again, that is another talk. I cannot believe I heard it this week. And it makes it a joke. It makes it all a joke, and I don't like that.
Yeah, I think boxing is the yearning for another big name. I mean, who do we have out there, really? So, but the heavyweight names are, not well known in the public. It took all this time to get Wilder's name up there.
Right.
For a long time, he was unknown, basically. You understand? So,
Yeah, yeah. It
we'll
took
have to see. But Fury's exciting, and the British fans, yes, they have their king, the Gypsy King.
well, we haven't seen this likes of excitement in the boxing heavyweight division since Mike Tyson. We get another Tyson involved, and just ironic that it goes this route itself. That we Tyson in the ring, totally different fighter, completely
And
different fighter.
Mike Tyson was there at ringside for this one, along with Evander Holyfield and Lennox Lewis. So
Wow.
it's quite a night for them, I'm sure.
Yes, that was probably the last strong era of the heavyweights. Those three big three that you just mentioned there. And I'm sure they were watching something. And it was a big night for boxing. A lot of stars. Hey, what kind of stars did you see when you're there? What photographs were you snapping at for big names?
Oh, there were a bunch of sports people there, but I was basically concentrating on the action of this fight this year. So, but Mike and Evander and Lennox did get in the ring, so it
Oh,
was really good to see. Good to see them all together again. You understand?
and I mean, so Mike fought them both, but
Right,
did
right.
I'm trying to remember. Did Holyfield fight Lewis? I don't remember. My mind.
I think you did. There, I'm gonna have to test my
Yeah, I
memory on
just
that
totally
one.
blanked on that one. Yeah, I totally blanked on that one. I would be hurt and bothered that they didn't fight. How dare they?
Yeah, I don't know if they did.
Well, how
Wait,
how ironic is that? You were at
right.
the Tyson Holyfield fight. I was there. The bloody biting ear, and there was Holyfield and Mike Tyson with another bloody ear at the MGM Grand with a guy named Tyson doing the damage. That's kind of ironic.
I know. And I was telling everybody, Mike's a great guy, but Evander should stand too close to him right there.
Well, it's pretty cool that they can actually stand there. I mean, after all that, I mean, that was a crazy week, by the way. That was one of the craziest weeks of my sports journalism career. That week,
Yes,
leading up to
yes.
that fight and everything. I will never forget that. So many memories, too. All right, Chris, I appreciate it, man. We'll keep in touch. All right.
Okay, great. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on.
All right. Chris Farina, the man, the godfather of boxing photography, and the guy who's been around boxing for so many decades. He's seen it all. He's seen a lot. Been around the world with this boxing. Was there on Saturday night, and his perspective was strong and greatly appreciated. Thank you, Chris.
All right, thank you.
All righty, there it is. Chris Farina boxing recapping on Saturday night's big fight with Fury and Wilder. What a night that was again for boxing fans and the fight fans. Let's move on to the next topic right now. Let's move it along. Let's talk about more size. And we talked about the size and the awkwardness of looking at a Fury in the ring against a massive chiseled guy like Deontay Wilder. We talked about Ruiz, the fighter, maybe a Ruiz and Tyson Fury match fight would be an awesome one to watch. I would love to see that. Again, size, weird size, body shapes. But Joe Burrow, LSU quarterback, now entering the NFL draft at the combine, his hands are supposedly small or smaller than Patrick Mahomes. That became a big story for some reason. Maybe we're looking for stories. I don't think it's a big deal. I don't think the guy can throw a football. Guy was really well, did played very well in college. I believe that translates pretty good into the NFL. He seems like he'll translate very well in the NFL. Wait and see, like everybody else. But does size really matter? In this case, with the NFL Combine, overhyped, overanalyzing, detailing everything possible, too many opinions. This one is laughable. It is completely laughable. Okay. Um, it's not like he has tiny little mittens, you know. He's not like Smurf hands, you know. This is okay. So he's a little bit smaller than some other quarterbacks, or below the average, maybe, as some people are trying to put it. But Joe Burrow, size doesn't matter. What only matters is the ring size on your finger winning a Super Bowl. That's the only size that matters when it comes to the NFL. And good luck with that, wherever you may end up, Joe Burrow, because we don't know. You said, Joe Burrow did say that he's okay playing for whoever drafts him, which means that would be Cincinnati if that's the case too. So he spoke about it, didn't say anything about forcing a trade, but whoever drafts him, he will show up and play football for. All right. So let's see what happens with the Bengals. Altuve and the Astros, well, they got their first awakening of what is expected in 2020, getting hit by pitches. The opposing players are ready. Altuve gets plunked. Okay? That's the first, probably of many. Yes, they got booed. This is the darkness, the dark Astros. This is the part of the Astros season that is they got to get used to it. and Major League Baseball created that problem, it's going to continue. They said yesterday's hit by pitch wasn't intentional because it was a curveball. Well, we'll play this out a little bit longer, but just letting you know, it's begun. Mike Fiers, the pitcher for the A's, who played for the Astros, who was the one that spoke up about this and blew this thing all up, gets cheered. Even though guys like Pedro and Big Poppy want to criticize Mike Fiers for being a snitch, makes me question their integrity for the game of baseball and who are they protecting when it comes to this. Derek Jeter spoke out that this is a dark place for baseball, needs to overcome that itself. All right, more about the baseball part of it. You know, I really appreciate Fiers speaking out. I also appreciate Jose Canseco, even though he was in the wrong for taking steroids and all that. But I appreciate and respect the guys who stepped out for the integrity of the game, even when you get caught, even after the fact. It's never too late to admit and to be honest, right? You will take your lumps, and you may not get back to where you were before for being open and honest after the fact, but it's still a good thing to do. Mike Fiers never cheated the game. He was a part of a team that did cheat. He got his World Series ring, and now he wants to speak out. I'm okay with that. It probably bothered him the whole time. You know, there's a lot of things in life that we can relate and correlate to sports. But when you have a group of men or women in a locker room, not everybody agrees on everything. Not everybody has the same opinions, the same perspective on things. But you do keep quiet just for your job and getting what is your goal and goals, team goals, is to win. So nobody's even thinking the fact that Mike Fiers may have, and like many other Astro players, just said, I don't want to talk about this, or I'm going to, and finally, enough was enough. But the whole league was aware of the Astros having an edge on and complaining to baseball. So we can't forget that. For anybody who wants to diffuse and knock down Mike Fiers and try to support the Astros, what are you trying to do? They got caught, and they still won't admit it. Think about that one. All righty, more comments coming in. I appreciate you all popping in there. I see you all. Jessica in the house, Felix in the hey Felix, Rosie in the house, Richard in the house, Antonio, Martin, Stephen Harris, Todd back in, Danny, Ryan, Billy Y, CG, Chris Rucker, Jaime. We have Scotty, Denise, Andy, Betty Jean, Tim Romain in the house, Levon, Brendan Grady in the house, Cassandra, how you doing? Barbie, Betsy in the house, John, and we have Roger, we have Marianne, we have Cesar. Thank you for all popping in. John Turner, I got you, John. In my day, there were Johnsons as far as they can see. That's very true. In my day, there were Johnsons as far as. That's too funny. All right, I expect that from you, John. That's a good one, though. That's funny. All right, Martine says Wilder can't not beat Fury. I agree with that. I don't think Deontay Wilder can beat Fury unless Fury beats himself, unless he is not prepared, unless he is just coming in overweight and something like that. But if they're prepared and ready to go at it like they were on Saturday night, I don't believe Wilder will beat Fury unless he gets lucky with the punch. Just like Pacquiao got knocked out with a second to go in a round and lost the fight when he never should have been that close. But that's how and maybe why Deontay Wilder can win a boxing fight over Fury. But other than that, I don't think these guys should fight again. All right? Todd says, I don't know what is using the beanball or purposely hitting Astro hitters does for anyone. Just play baseball. Well, it's going to wear itself out, Todd. But for now, baseball did not take care of the punishment where a lot of people are looking. Alex Rodriguez got beamed for taking steroids. Okay. And it was purposely beamed. Okay. But nobody came to Alex's defense in that one way. Like, there wasn't a big outrage. And in the way that you're putting it, that why? But some people took it in their own hands because Alex got caught again doing PEDs or something like that, and he lied or he just wasn't forthcoming to it all. So somebody beans him, and there's a problem, and blah, blah, blah. Okay? Now we have something else. Now we have something that is, to me, bigger and more dangerous to the game of baseball is this cheating scandal that took place for what we can believe for 3 years, maybe more. For 3 years, the Astros have been doing this in many devising ways, technology that they've been using, the way they have been handling it. Some people said there's no proof. Well, hiding the proof. We saw what happened with the NFL and the Patriots. They got caught, they got punished, but nobody saw the proof. Nobody knows how long and what the extent of the proof that was burned or destroyed, the evidence. So just be careful when it comes to the Astros. We'll never know the evidence because they're trying to move on. Baseball's trying to move on. Is that Bradley Miller? Hey, Bradley. All right, moving on with our topics. We did talk about Joe Burrow and his hand size being a quarter inch smaller than Patrick Mahomes, and people were freaking out like he's got small hands. Grow up. All right, basketball. In case you missed it last night, Sabrina, this is it. Sabrina Ionescu became the first NCAA basketball player, man or woman, to reach 2,000 points, 1,000 assists, and 1,000 rebounds in NCAA history. Is she the greatest college basketball player? Is she the greatest women's basketball player? You can argue yes, because it's never been done before. Has the game changed a little bit? Sure. But the fact that she can put up a triple-double career in college basketball and never been done before, that is amazing. That is great. Look forward to seeing her in the tournament and see how Oregon does, the Oregon Ducks. Again, 2,000 points, 1,000 assists, and 1,000 rebounds. More about her, too. Let's see this. The Oregon star, Sabrina Ionescu, let's say the milestone, defensive rebounds, offensive rebounds, just a full force on the basketball court. She does it all. She rebounds, she assists, she scores. I mean, that is amazing. And she credits a lot of it because of her size. She's 5'11", and when she was growing up, she was always smaller, but she was always also playing against her brothers and older people, bigger people. So she realized she wasn't able to score a lot early on in her life, so she decided to rebound and focus on learning how to rebound so she can get the ball so she can score. And then as she get older, she realized the game of passing the ball and teamwork. And that developed her other skills. She started focusing on rebounding and passing the ball as her skill set for scoring continued to grow and get old as she got older. By the time she got into college, she was just a star already. And now she's just a full force in women's basketball and probably going to take the WNBA by storm. She is a hot number 1 draft pick for the WNBA. She breaks through this historic number last night after she was at the Kobe Bryant funeral services, basically everything that you saw on TV, the memorial services for Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna in Southern California. She was even there and spoke there and then went on to play against UCLA, Oregon game. All right, Arizona State. Bobby Hurley took the job at Arizona State a few years ago. Got a nice contract, a contract that's going to last until 2024. A contract that surely seems like this school, this program, is getting closer and closer to being the dominant force in the Pac 12 when it comes to basketball. Can you say it now? At this point, even though the tournament has not begun for the Pac 12, Bobby Hurley basically has gotten Arizona State again back in the NCAA tournament. Another historic or kind of very good streak when it comes to Arizona State Sun Devil basketball for the men. But he also and his team and the boys and the men of that program put together 10 games, winning 9 out of 10, a 7-game winning streak. And you have not seen this out of a Sun Devil men's squad since 1981, winning 7 games in a row like this. The past 9 games have just been phenomenal. They have ran through all. The only loss they have is against U of A. But they also beat U of A. They took down UCLA. They took down USC. They got the Oregon schools. They're on a roll. They're running through the Pac-12, winning. They're close games. They're not like dominating their opponent, but they have finding ways to win. And the Bobby Hurley mentality, the Bobby Hurley competitive spirit is a big difference why this team finds ways to win late, finds ways to come back late in the game, finds ways to finish or defend. This is a real run. This is a program still not peaked yet. This is still an uphill peaking of this program at Arizona State University. Bobby Hurley has yet to get his star player at Arizona State. He's got a lot of good star players, but not the elite, not the big name. When is that big home run player coming to Arizona State? Does it come now? Is he there and waiting and developing? Some people feel there's some really good ones on that roster right now, and only time they will emerge. But where's that big stud? Are they watching Arizona State? Do they want to join this program? I mean, Arizona State has been taking care of U of A down in Tucson for a few games now, for a couple of years now. It has completely turned around. Bobby Hurley deserves a lot of credit. His basketball mind, competitive spirit, but understanding the game, understanding the college game is really translating well in Tempe, Arizona. The next step is maybe you can win the Pac-12 tournament, but you are on your way to the NCAA for what you have done so far. Getting into the NCAA tournament and winning a few games is the next big goal for this program. It has to get to the Sweet 16, in my eye. Because if they don't, they still remain good school, good program, but never getting past that first game or so. Okay? That's the big one. Got to get past, got to get a couple of wins, got to get yourself on that national platform in a big way in March Madness. So more eyes. Get that special look at that's looking at you more and more for the other high school kids around the country. Bobby Hurley has a lot of respect nationwide. That goes a long way. Coming to Arizona, going to school at Arizona State, it is a fabulous campus, fabulous community, fabulous social life. It is a comfortable place to live for anybody. But for a young kid, it can be very attractive. For the first time I would say in a very, very long time, and more than ever, because Tempe is becoming, in a small way, an elite city. In a small way. It's not a big geographic area, but man, it's popping, and it's growing, and it's going up. Buildings are going up, straight up. It's a sign of change in Tempe. Bobby Hurley has a big part of that. A lot of attention. So does that football team across the hall there with Herm Edwards. A lot of special things going on. The basketball program, the baseball program in Arizona State is hot. They are good. They are primed to make an NCAA tournament run for baseball. A lot of nice things are happening at Arizona State. But this historic run since 1981, this winning streak, got to be mentioned. Can't overlook it. Got to be spoken of. And a lot of credit has to go to the guys on the court, the guys who believe in Bobby Hurley and the program itself, and making Arizona State men's basketball a place to play, a place to go and study and craft your game in basketball. All right, moving on. More about Arizona State in the upcoming weeks with the tournament. Baseball is underway for college baseball too. That's fun to watch. Let's get into this a little bit more. We're going to keep it in Arizona. The Phoenix Suns have matched or have won more games than they have in quite some time. In 5 years, the last 5 years, the Phoenix Suns have yet to win as many games as they have right now. They have matched the 24 wins they had in 2016-17. That was for the entire season. Right now, they're at 24 wins. They've already matched it, right? They're 24-34. They're really not a good team. They're not even an average team. They're below average team. They've won a couple of games in a row. They're basically looking like a team that's primed to make a run right now, late in the season. They need to make a run to make the playoffs. Is this a Suns team that's just going to be like a 8th seed potential contender, 7th seed potential contender every year, or are they going to get over the top? Is there another big star player, or are these star players, Ayton and Booker, and those two are going to just grow, get older, get better, and can stay healthy, and the Phoenix Sun teams will rise, where free agents will come to play more and more as time passes on. I mentioned this a couple of years ago, and I mentioned it last year, that the time for the Suns is not now. It's not next year. I would say minimum it was 3 years away for them to be an NBA contender for the championship. If this is the path with the young talent, they have 2 stars. They have 2 stars in Booker and in Ayton, and you can build around that. Can that happen? Coach Williams is a great coach. It seems like he's got this team playing better than ever before, growing and developing a system that is now seems to be bought into, playing better together. It's just that the talent level in Phoenix they need more depth. They need another 3rd, 4th player, right? Their star players are playing, they have star numbers, but that's because nobody else is performing at a high level. So the star players are getting the big numbers. It's the role players, it's the guys, the 3, the 4, the 5th player on the court has to play better. Have to play better for this team to rise above and overcome a lot of obstacles to get to the 8th and 7th seed spot and make the NBA playoffs. Getting to the playoffs, the Phoenix Suns will accomplish not just a season of success in that way, but also putting eyes on their organization for free agents to say, you know what, this team is now making the move. I like Monty. I like what they're doing in Phoenix. These free agents may want to pop over there and take a peek. Now, do the Suns want to pay? I mean, they got 2 stars that are so young that they're going to demand more money later on. So it's definitely a chess match when it comes to the NBA budget, roster budget, the finances of it all. We'll see if the Suns are in it to win it, or are they just trying to get by and see where this all takes them? Because they have a chance, the Phoenix Suns, a chance to be really, really good in 3 years. All right, this is 1 year, so two more seasons after this, I believe they will be high potential NBA contending team for what they have in 2 young stars that are not getting a lot of publicity, a lot of criticism, but you got to give them time. They are so young and developing and playing together that the Suns team has a chance to be special in 3 years. When the older players in the league, the veterans, start to peel off and not just retire, but also their game diminishes. So which means whatever team they are on, well, guess what? The Phoenix Suns are on the rise up and surpassing them. There's a lot of movement with free agency with the NBA players. They pick and choose where they want to go. This very well could be flipped really quick with the Phoenix Suns with success, getting out there, getting into the NBA playoffs, that is, and showing the league and the other players that, hey, we are on the rise and we need more and we can do something very special. And we can be here for a very long time with this young core young guys. Be a part of the Suns. Let's do something special here for 5 years. So I'm thinking the Suns, by the time Booker, oh my gosh, 10 years from now, this team should have at least a couple of runs, strong runs for an NBA title. That's not overreacting. That is what you are expecting because of what the young talent that they have on that team with 2 young stars. The criticism is always going to be there. But overall, on that roster, it is not a strong roster to be that good. And their star players will get better. The league will pay attention to them more. The referees will pay attention to them more. And gaining respect. So this is all on the beginning stages still. It's all still coming through. They have a coach that is well respected. There's a lot of nice things happening, including those 24 wins, which is still a lot for the Suns in the last 5 years. They're on 10 games under 500, so don't get so excited. But at the same time, this could be and should be the beginning. If it's not, it's a disaster. Plain and simple. It's a disaster for the Suns, if that's the case. But I don't believe it's going to happen. I believe Booker and Ayton are a great tandem, and they got to play together. They got to work together. They got to be the Kobe, Shaq of the future of the league. That's how you have to look at it, and that's how they have to look at each other. Be those guys. Take over the game like that. And as the game grows within them, I see this happening for the Suns. I really, really do. All righty, moving on. More comments coming in. Rex, is that Rex Walters? Hey, Rex, how you doing? Todd in the house. ASU basketball. Baby, yes, it is a good one. Unfortunately, I wish Sauber would pull the trigger on a move or moves for the Suns, or unfortunately move away from the Suns. I get you. But the Suns are in a good spot. You know, the rest of the league is doing well. I mean, not the rest of the league, but the other teams are doing well, but that's not going to last long. You know, teams of greatness only last a few years. You may get a 5-year run that is NBA contending team, but things don't last. So be patient. But you need to get there. The Suns need to get there, and that's what's going on right now with the Suns. All righty, moving on. More topics coming in. Let's get into the NFL, and then we'll move on. Approaching the NFL combines are here, basically. We talked about Joe Burrow. All right, he promised that he'll show up to whoever drafts him. Okay, Stephon Diggs in the NFL. Check this out. There is no reason to anticipate that Stephon Diggs is not going to be a Minnesota Viking in 2020. That is coming from Vikings general manager Rick Spielman. Dave Gettleman, New York Giants general manager, said that the team is open for business as it pertains to trading back from the number 4 pick overall. Check that out. Or do they want to trade up? The Giants are looking to trade. That's big news from the 4 spot. Who wants to jump up? Maybe the Arizona Cardinals will go to 8-4 to get what they really want. Titans general manager John Robinson said the organization will do everything it can to keep the impending free agent Derrick Henry, another great player. Look at these names that are popping out. Anthony Costanzo, the tackle, a little bit older, but a veteran. 32 years old, not too old, but a veteran player, plays at a high level. General Manager Chris Ballard said the negotiations are ongoing. These are some good names out there. Derek Carr. What's up with Derek Carr? Where is he going to be? Is the team replacing Derek Carr? Mike Mayock, general manager, Raiders. Derek Carr played at a high level. Was very happy with Derek Carr. And he then cut to the chase. Every position gets evaluated every year. And if we can upgrade, we will. It is, basically saying he's still tradable. So I'm not quite sure if Mayock is putting it out there indirectly, but there's another quarterback out there that is somewhat linked to the Raiders in a rumorville is Jameis Winston. Bruce Arians responded by saying this: I know who else is available, meaning other quarterbacks. Arians alluded that teams really don't know who's going to hit the market until the tags come out. So you got to wait for the franchise tags, he's saying, leaving 2 to 3 days to make any final decision. Very integral part. He then added Bruce Arians about his Buccaneers team and his quarterback on Winston's situation, the Jameis Winston situation. Organization knows who else is available next week, or when that week happens. We can we win with Jameis Winston? Hell yeah, Arian says, but you can see if there's a better option. All signs point to Tampa Bay bringing back stud edge defensive tackle or edge rusher Shaquille Barrett, I should say, in free agency. But Winston Suter, his situation is still clearly up in the air. He is only 26 years old, okay? Returning on a short-term deal, Shaquille Barrett, that is also. So the Buccaneers are going to stick with their defensive player and see what's out there when it comes to quarterback. A lot of good options, a lot of veteran quarterbacks that Bruce Arians likes. More about the players in the league right now. Some good free agents. Okay, featured back David Montgomery. Carry a heavy load for the Bears. Okay, that's assuming the Bears opt to run more next season. Montgomery wasn't truly leaned on a lot. But then again, the Bears' offense was not as good last year. Okay, Mitchell Trubisky was a big part of it. General manager Ryan Pace reaffirmed that Mitchell Trubisky will open as a team starter in 2020, squashing any rumors about trades or not going with Trubisky as their quarterback. Washington Post reports that financial issues is the cause and getting in the way of Trent Williams, the tackle of the Redskins. More news. Cam Newton of the Panthers. You know what? Who's he going to quarterback next year? Well, Ian Rappaport at NFL Network is reporting moving forward with Cam Newton as the team's starting quarterback. They're happy with him. They're content with him as the team's quarterback. Coach Matt Rule and his staff have reportedly been impressed how Newton has treated his rehab and his intent to return to top form. We'll see what happens with the Panthers and Cam Newton, but it looks like the Panthers are satisfied. Hayden Hurst, tight end. And you can always use a tight end in the NFL these days. Okay, well, Hurst was a 25th pick overall 2 years ago in 2018, but is already going to turn 27 years old. Mark Andrews is their top tight end right now, basically their starter. So where is Hurst on the depth chart? And does Hurst, tight end, a good one still, is there a real chance of him being traded? There are a lot of rumors floating around Baltimore that the Ravens are looking to trade him. And Hayden Hurst is on that list. Tom Brady. We connected him with the Titans. That is still a very strong rumor, but the connections to the Titans organization and the coaching staff is real. Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys have not talked or met since September. Now, that's a big deal. You would think their quarterback, their future, the guy they want, they would have been negotiating. Are they afraid of losing Dak Prescott? Does somebody else want a Dak Prescott? Who are the Cowboys really looking at? Why aren't they in an urgency to sign Dak Prescott? He had a pretty good year, statistically speaking, a really good year. actually. But no contact with Prescott or even Amari Cooper, the wide receiver. The CBA rules for the 2020 league year are decided. Still, they reaffirmed the team's long-term commitment to Prescott by noting Dak's our quarterback, they say. He's our quarterback for the future, but they still haven't met or negotiated with Todd France, Dak Prescott's agent, since September. Makes you think. All right, Vontaze Burfict is reinstated, is committed to returning to the NFL in 2020. Last played for the Oakland Raiders, now the Las Vegas Raiders. Defensive lineman Marcel Darius, a one-time great college player, got lost a little bit up in Buffalo, went down to Jacksonville and solidified the middle run defense. Guess what? The Jaguars confirmed aren't expected to exercise their option on Marcel Darius. He's a nice free agent, but the option would have guaranteed Darius a $20 million payday. Wow. So this was never going to get picked up. This guy's going to be free. Now, what is Darius going to ask on the free agent market? He's a good defensive tackle. He clogs up the middle. A lot of teams can use that right about now. I think the Cardinals can use a guy like that. But what is the pricing tag? They can free up another $11 million, the Jaguars, from releasing cornerback A.J. Bowie. I mean, where have the Jacksonville Jaguars gone? They were just minutes away from going to a Super Bowl. Now, Yannick, their defensive lineman, also is seeking a $22 million a year contract. These NFL players, they know the big money's coming with the new CBA. Their agents know it. They're trying to get in and demand big money because they're anticipating that the billions of dollars coming their way that's going to be shared among the players with the new agreement with the owners, contracts, the value of contracts are going to go up. The dollars are going to go up. So the Jaguars may be losing a lot of defensive players. Don't expect the Jaguars to do anything special. I think they're losing a lot. It looks like they're going to lose a lot. Also, Olivier Vernon, one-time future star of a game of football, the NFL, has now bounced around the NFL. He's bouncing around again. Cleveland Browns, it's being reported, probably will move on and release the defensive end, edge rusher, outside linebacker, a 3-4 guy. Not a bad player. Not a bad one. But he's not going to be the star that was anticipated when he was drafted. Vernon is now owned a non-guaranteed $15.5 million in the final year of his deal. Looks like he's going to get released. Cleveland Browns look like they're going to release him. Hey, Steven Gronkowski of the Patriots, the kicker, one time was the star of that team. Field goal consistency. Looks like coming up the hip surgery. Looks like they're going to release him. The Patriots are going to release him. Not good there. Jacoby Brissett of the Colts. Well, Jim Irsay says all options are on the table at quarterback. Another team not committed to their quarterback from a year ago. Ben Roethlisberger looking like he's getting ready. They say he'll be ready in 2 to 3 months to be at full force, to go full hard, ready for summer and ready for preseason games. He's already throwing the ball. And I'll tell you what, if Ben Roethlisberger is 80% of what he was in the past, the Steelers are winning a lot of football games because last year, their quarterbacks couldn't even do 40% of what Ben is going to do. You know, I mean, there is some promise in some young quarterbacks, but the Steelers are in a now moment still. They still have and Ben's their quarterback, and he's 36 years old, right? 38 years old. What hell old is Ben? I'm trying to look. He's 38 years old, right? He's going to be 38 years old in 8 days. okay, or 9 days, something like that. A lot of people think Ben's done. Like people who don't like Ben, they just wish that he's done because, and all I hear is comments that Ben is done. The Steelers are done. They're not going to win because he blew out his arm. Well, big surgery. He's throwing the ball. Football's not like baseball. There's different technologies now, and pitchers come back sooner than later. Football players and especially quarterbacks can recover a lot better too. So if you're going to turn and don't blink on the Pittsburgh Steelers and Ben Roethlisberger. If you think this guy's just gonna like disappear and be a lame duck, horrible quarterback, you really got to start thinking about what you may not know about football. But at the same time, you're underestimating and overreacting on something that you're hoping for. We are just waiting to see if Ben, his arm strength, that will get built up by the regular season. He doesn't have to play. Doesn't have to play until September, the second week, and building up his arm strength. So we're barely getting out of February, right? We're out of February, in about a week. So you got all of March, all of April, all of May, all of June, all of July. You got August preseason games. And then in 7 months, he's got 7 months to rehab and build up. It was September when he had the surgery. He's throwing a football now. He'll be fine. And the fact that he knows the game so well and he understands the game so well, that goes a very long way in any huddle. Veteran leadership and knowing the game. Those receivers in Pittsburgh did not have great years. Well, look at the quarterback situation they had last year. Those numbers are going to go up with Big Ben. There's going to be a better offense in Pittsburgh. So do not, overestimate the Steelers in 2020. Or underestimate. Right. New England Patriots, another big name out there. Devin McCourty, expected to get the franchise tag, but if not, could be a nice pickup for somebody. And Matt Judon, linebacker of the Ravens, is expected to be a franchise tagged player. And Matt Crosby, kicker, got a 3-year extension for $12.9 million. That's how much they love him in Green Bay. And man, Green Bay fans really were hard on him a couple of years ago. All right. There's pretty much your full hour of Hannah Time Sports Talk. We were all over with boxing. We were all over with basketball, college basketball, NBA, baseball, Major League Baseball, and the NFL itself. Appreciate you coming in. We had, a lot of newcomers too today. We have Chris Kruger in the house, or Chris Krager in the house, Josh Tweedy. Good morning, Josh. My gosh, Tato in the house. Tato in the house. Where are you from? Wow. I'm trying to pronounce Hioali Taito. Hioali Taito. I hope I got that right. Her first name looks like a Desmahia Hawali Taito. I think I got it right. I know I'm pretty close. All righty. Todd, I see your comments, man. Very good. Rex Walters, thanks for popping in. Great college basketball player and also played in the NBA for a couple of years. Okay, for about 7 years. All right, let's get out of here. Tuesday is done. Enjoy your rest of your Tuesday right here on Hannah Time. I appreciate you coming in, like always. YouTube people, thank you so much. Facebook people, Instagram people, everybody out there, thank you for popping in. I appreciate it. We'll talk to you Wednesday. We got a hump day coming. A big hump day. All righty, guys. We'll talk to you. Hannah Time. Cornelius, Brad, Hannah. We'll talk to you tomorrow. All right, YouTubers.